How did Reagan and Gorbachev end the Cold War? Have you ever wondered how two leaders from opposing sides managed to bring an end to decades of tension? The story of Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev is a fascinating chapter in history. Their relationship played a key role in ending the Cold War and reshaping the world. The Cold War was a long period of conflict between the capitalist United States and the communist Soviet Union. By the late 1980s, the atmosphere began to change, largely due to Gorbachev's new policies. He introduced reforms known as Glasnost, which means openness, and Perestroika, which means restructuring. These changes aimed to revitalize the Soviet system and led to more transparency and less hostility towards the West. Reagan and Gorbachev met several times, with their first significant summit occurring in Geneva in 1985. They discussed various issues, but it was the Reykjavik summit in 1986 that truly set the stage for future negotiations. Although they did not reach a formal agreement, both leaders showed a willingness to talk about reducing nuclear weapons. The discussions included contentious topics like the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty and Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative. However, the real breakthrough came in 1987 when they signed the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. This treaty was historic because it required the elimination of an entire class of nuclear weapons from Europe. It marked the first time the superpowers agreed to reduce their nuclear arsenals instead of just limiting their growth. The relationship between Reagan and Gorbachev was built on a mutual understanding of the dangers of nuclear war. They both recognized the need to ease tensions. Their cooperation led to several arms control agreements and a reduction in hostile rhetoric. This significantly lowered the risk of direct conflict between their nations. From Gorbachev's perspective, steering the Soviet Union towards peaceful coexistence was a major shift. His approach, while aimed at reform, ultimately contributed to the weakening of Soviet influence and the eventual dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. Reagan's willingness to engage with Gorbachev, despite his earlier hardline stance, showed a pragmatic response to changing global dynamics. Through their sustained diplomatic efforts, Reagan and Gorbachev made significant strides in arms reduction and shifted Soviet policy towards reform and openness. These actions collectively helped to reduce tensions and paved the way for the end of the Cold War. Their relationship was a remarkable example of how dialogue and cooperation can lead to lasting change in the world.